Yeah.
Yeah, you know it. Shorty worried about followers, I'm following this kick. I knew how to fuck all my stars aligned. This not a fluke, no, this is my fate. You know it.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to a new Waterwave TV interview. We got a Minnesota legend in the building, directed by Gabe.
My guy, thank you for having me.
Long time coming.
It's an honor.
I remember I bumped into you at the Twin City Pro-Am this year.
Yeah.
You told me you had this Minnesota documentary you were shooting.
Yeah.
And now we get to see it come to life.
Yes, sir, man.
Really cool. I watched the trailer. Haven't seen the full thing, obviously. It just premiered yesterday for the people, obviously, when you're watching, it's going to be more in the future. Just premiered yesterday on the 20th. I'm excited to watch it. I think I'm going to try to come out to the one on Thursday on the 24th, right?
Yep.
24th?
Thursday at 6 p.m.
Yeah, that's really cool. But before we get too deep into that, we got to learn a little bit more about you and your history in the basketball world, the camera world. You've done a lot more than just make this documentary, which I think is going to, it's definitely going to be one of your bigger accomplishments of your career, but you have some crazy accomplishments too if you just go through your Instagram, scroll through and see a bunch of stuff. But before we get too deep, what is your name? Where are you from? What are your passions? How did you get into camera work?
Yeah, well, I'm Gabe. I grew up here in Minnesota, right over in Brooklyn Center. This place is home, and my first love was basketball. I was like destined on I was like, yeah, I want to go to the NBA like a lot of young hoopers. So I like gave my everything to basketball from like first grade on. And when I was in third grade, my dad got me a little camcorder, and that's when I started playing around with that. I was like, okay, this is my real true calling. I started making little basketball mixtapes and backyard Nerf gun videos, just whatever I could get my hands on. And I kind of fell in love with storytelling. So it was really just basketball and filmmaking for me all the way from elementary school through middle school. And when I got to high school, I did my first music video. And, as you guys know, there's a lot of local talented artists here. So I hit up my guy Casey Pluto, and my first music video ever was actually with Casey Pluto here in Minnesota.
What year was that? You remember, or era at least?
My sophomore year of high school.
So that's probably what, like 2015, 14?
Yeah, it was before Casey. He was like, people started to kind of know who he was locally here, but both of us at that point were still like
real early on.
Nobody's just trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
And so I did that video for him and kind of fell in love with music videos. And started to work with other local artists out here like Drelly and Alan Kingdom, who Drelly actually moved to LA at the same time as I did. So we've been still cooking up ever since. So it's cool, that full circle connection with him. But yeah, I just fell in love with filmmaking, and I realized that it could take me much further than basketball.
Yeah.
I had like I played through high school, had a couple like Division III, Division II looks, but I realized like I could make much more of an impact with filmmaking and what I can do with the camera. So I was, the place to be for that is LA. So I was like, that's set on going to LA after high school. I moved out there and went to this school about 30 minutes outside of LA called Azusa Pacific. To study film there. But while I was in school, I was just hustling. I would go to LA and just meet with any producers or artists that I could. And at that point, I was able to like get into this production company out there, and they really believed in my work and what I had already built as a kid in Minnesota. So they started to let me direct stuff. And so out of nowhere, as a 19-year-old, I got to direct a Gunna music video.
Yeah, Calvino was showing me that. He's like, make sure you bring up the Gunna video.
Yeah, and so I'm like nervous out of my mind showing up to set. I'm just this kid. This is my first big music video. And Gunna and Young Thug show up. And I'm like, oh my God. And we had this box. This is a funny story about Thug. We had a box of Pop-Tarts that was like for the whole cast and crew. But I guess he loved s'mores Pop-Tarts, and he took the whole box and he just like killed it one after the next. And but yeah, that was a crazy experience. The video turned out great, and I think from that point on, I was like, I got this. I got to just keep working. So
going to LA, that just proves that being in the right market can get you the right opportunities.
Yeah.
How did you get connected with the the Gunna video? Was it just like, hey, we need a director, or were you right place, right time? Like, how did that even work?
I think it's there's a lot of like production companies in LA that already kind of have those label connections and stuff. So I was just hitting up as many of those production companies as I can. Like, yo, I'll come shoot BTS, or I'll come be a production assistant. Like, just whatever you can do to get your foot in. And I was lucky that this guy named Mike Mahale, who was a bigger director out there, he directed like Kendrick's "Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe" music video. Mary J. Blige, a lot of big stuff out there. He saw the work that I had already done as like a kid out here in Minnesota. He was like, yo, you're ready, bro. Like, so it was really just right place, right time, and being ready for the moment. You know, like if you go to LA, you got to kind of have your plan and have your body of work ready so that if you do get into a room or you get into a space, you have something to show. And I think it was, just a right place, right time thing. He believed in me and gave me that opportunity. And I did within those first couple months, I did that Gunna video. I got to do like a documentary with Ski Mask the Slump God. Oh. His first show after X passed away. That was insane. Rico Nasty, Smino, and just kept working from there. I started a production company with some of my best friends in college called Puzzle World Studios. And we started to build that up and get to do our own productions. So it's been a lot of ups and downs, you know, and I've had like high points where I feel like you're never going to come down from that. And then you have slow months where you barely have any projects, but you got to just keep working and building your body of work.
Definitely.
So that's like my film journey that got me out there.
You mentioned Drelly. That's, I think, actually how I found out about you for the first time. Yeah. Or maybe it was how I found out about Drelly for the first time. I don't remember. But I think it was like I seen a video of Drelly you shot, and I was like, who shot this? This is dope. Because like he's been
was really it the tennis one?
It might have been the tennis one. It was something, or like where his head was cropped into a different spot.
Yeah,
or something.
He was a baby on a baby doll or something.
I think that I remember seeing that video and being like, "Who shot this?" And then it's like you, and it's like, "Oh, he's from Minnesota." He like both out in LA doing their thing. So now it's kind of cool just to kind of hear the backstory on it. But Drelly's like an artist that I've just been watching for a long time, and he's always been on like my top tier list of like artists that are doing it right out of Minnesota. I don't know exactly where he's at in his career right now, but I do see him still like being on the internet doing a lot of cool shit.
Yeah, Drelly's my guy for life. You know, we were both just hungry high schoolers out here, and we connected and made that first Chiquita video, and then we both moved out to LA at the same time. And I think both of us have just had like a slow, steady growth. Like neither of us kind of have had that blow up overnight moment, but we've just been consistent with like good quality work and like putting the creative first, and it's just led us to more and more opportunities. And he's still killing it. I think he's making the best music of his life, so it's just gonna take that one hit. But he's been really doing it on TikTok now. Like he's been killing it with this 90s vibe on TikTok, and he had a couple go viral, and so that's kind of the wave he's been on now. But he's an incredible artist, and we'll probably work together until the end of our careers.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool to like have, you know, someone to like come up with and like kind of hold each other accountable of like, hey, I'm not falling off, so you better not be falling off. You know, like I'm still getting these good, you know, placements, good views, good videos, like, you know, so he doesn't. So he's like, dang, we were at the same place at one point, and now, you know, he may be, if he's doing better, I got to catch up, or vice versa. You know, bring each other up together. You know,
exactly, and we're able to plug each other too. He'll meet an artist and be like, if they need a video, he knows he's got the guy. Or if I'm working on a show or something and we need a soundtrack or an artist, I know I got him. So yeah, that's my guy, and it's Minnesota. That Minnesota connection.
When you first started being a videographer, I know you said like you shot a music video for Casey, but was it always like, I want to do music related like video work, or did it, you just kind of fell in your lap and that's just kind of been your main motive up until obviously like you did a lot of basketball stuff too, but was there like a real like, I want to do this type of film, or did like I want to do the music stuff, or did it just kind of fall in your lap?
I think like I always loved hip hop music and just music in general. So I think like the music videos just kind of naturally came to me, and after doing a couple of them in high school, I just fell in love with that process of like hearing a song and thinking about how it could be visually portrayed and then bringing that to life. And like, I always love just like the reaction of the artists when they feel good about the video and feel like it's like a true representation of their song. So I think music videos is what really like put me on in a sense, because like that's what got me all the opportunities in LA. Yeah. But my true passion is just storytelling in general. Yeah. So the music video industry in LA is kind of dying, unfortunately. Like now with TikTok and short form content, it's all just vertical reels and like whatever's the quickest and easiest to execute. Like
it's harder to get people to go to YouTube to watch a full music video than it is to just like shoot a really good like IG reel TikTok to promote the song.
And it's harder to convince labels now even that they need to invest in that. Like I've talked to some of these OG directors that were in the prime of music videos between like 2000 to 2010, like music video budgets were $500,000, $1 million. Like they were making movies with every music video, and now it's just been scaled down less and less and less. So I'm thankful that I've still gotten to do like a couple big budget music videos, but it's definitely changing. And so I feel like I kind of got burnt out of it a little bit and realized like the documentary is another passion of mine, telling those real raw stories. Yeah. And so that's kind of been the path I've been on the last few years. And I did a documentary with Red Bull and Metro Boomin last year. I did one with Rick Ross the year before that. And that's kind of been my bag lately, more than the music videos even.
Yeah, real. So we'll talk about the Metro Boomin Red Bull one is one that stands out to me.
Yeah.
Like when you came back to town, I think that's what you said. You're like, oh, I'm in the middle of finishing this documentary for Red Bull and Metro Boomin. I was like, damn. I was like, you're really on some shit. Because like, I think that might have been the first time we actually met in person.
Yeah.
Like we've talked over the internet and stuff before, but what was that experience like? I mean, like from start to finish, every little detail, like what is it like shooting a documentary for someone as big as Metro Boomin and Red Bull? Like, how did that work?
Yeah, so my girlfriend actually, who's here in the studio, she got a job as a producer for Red Bull, and so that was really cool because then she was able to get our foot in the door to do content and visuals for Red Bull, and they have this performance called Symphonic, which is basically where they take a hip hop artist and they create a full orchestral performance of their music. So they have a full orchestra, and it's really an incredible show. But
I feel like I seen that video like a while ago of Metro Boomin doing it.
Yeah,
but you were probably there.
I was there right behind him, underneath the stage.
I didn't even like put that thing, but I seen like the clips and stuff of the
documentary.
They
went super viral.
It was super viral. But the whole time this is like a whole documentary happening behind the scenes too. That's crazy.
So I think working on that project was really cool, and Metro is super down to earth. When we didn't get too much time with him. We, for a lot of those documentaries, we're not too hands-on with the artist. We'll have a couple moments here and there, and like we got to do like a 30-minute sit-down interview. So that's where I got to connect with him one-on-one and ask some personal questions to tell the story. But really, a lot of documentary is just being a fly on the wall, learning how to just find your spots around the venue or around the place and just capture the moment. And I never want to get in the way of someone doing what they do best.
Like non-authentic too.
Yeah, then it becomes forced and it feels like just the camera's in their face at all times. So I've learned to just be a fly on the wall and have the right lenses to still be able to capture like intimate shots of them. And the Metro one was really cool. He was super willing to talk with us and give us some of his journey and story. And then just really our team was just flying around that venue, capturing as many perspectives as we could, and then we put it all together. But lots of hours of editing, and we usually shoot a ton of footage, just shoot as much as we can, and then just narrow it down to the best moments and connect it with the interviews.
Definitely. Yeah. Oh, one thing you mentioned about like the the music video game always changing, where these super high budgets to create movies, and now there's not as much. Do you think that's like kind of just because of like how there's so much more like AI generated stuff nowadays too, or have you seen like Unreal Engine and like those types of things where like I forget, it was like a Nav and like it was like a Nav music video. I don't know, maybe I forget what song it was, but it was like a Vegas themed one, and the whole thing was shot in front of a green screen, but it looks like they're in like a bunch of different scenes.
Yeah.
But have you been impacted at all by the new like AI generated like softwares and all this stuff being a cameraman?
Yeah, I think the AI stuff is interesting, and I think we're all still kind of seeing and learning how it's affecting everything. The short answer to me is no, because I feel like AI will never be able to replace the heartfelt humanity of storytelling. Mm-hmm. Like AI can make some cool looking sci-fi, crazy visuals, but I don't know if it can tell a story the heartfelt way that like humans can still. And so I don't think it's affected me and like what I do, but I think the industry as a whole definitely, because a label might not always see it that way. Like a label might rather pay for a quick AI visualizer for their artists than to pay, $15,000 for a really high produced, well done music video. So yeah, I think we'll start to see the effects of it more and more. I think it's killing photographers more than video right now, more than anything, because it's so easy to just AI Photoshop and make a flyer, so graphic designers and stuff. It's getting scary for that, but I don't see it affecting video and film as much, but we got to see how these next couple of years play out.
Yeah, because it's still super new.
Yeah.
Like even Ben, the guy behind the camera for us, he's also our audio engineer, but he showed me there's a website that you can just type out the lyrics and then click the type of voice you want to sing, and it'll sing it in what in country or rap or R&B or whatever.
Yeah.
And so even like the music industry, it's like you don't even need to pay people for features anymore.
Yeah.
You can just type what you want or like say what you want, and then they'll make it into like what you want out of it.
Yeah.
Like it's wild.
It's nuts. Bro.
But I do think you're in like the right field that is probably going to be the last impacted or won't be impacted at all.
Like you can't make an AI documentary. Yeah. Like you could, but it would be...
There'd be a lot of... it's just like when you watch like AI generated like voiceover videos and it's like obviously like wrong or like not,
it feels
not
a
the
little
full
off.
Truth. Yeah, it's like they're like a little wrong. Like I don't know. I always catch myself watching like those like movie where it's like like basically a whole movie in like 30 minutes and it's someone talking over all the scenes. Yeah, and you can tell it's just like no one actually sat down and like typed the script. They just like sent it through and the computer just watched and said it.
There's those video prompts, AI things where you can literally type whatever you want. I want a penguin riding a surfboard. Straight onto the beach, and it'll come up with something, but it's like, what does that really mean?
But how is, I guess on the other side of things, how has like this new generation of technology helped you? I seen the video of you in the documentary trailer where you were editing in high school. Like, so I know you've been on the old programs and whatnot. I remember when I first started editing, there was no help, even on Photoshop and Illustrator. Like the only thing they had was like the magic wand tool that would kind of outline things back in the day, but it wouldn't really hit right. But how has like this new technology AI stuff like helped your process in making documentaries, music videos, whatever it may be?
No, I think there's definitely some stuff it's helped with. I think in terms of like client communication and stuff, ChatGPT is definitely a big one. It's easy to pull up a list of clients, or if you want to type out an email to reach out to someone, I think like
ChatGPT is super slept on for that type of stuff.
Goes crazy. But then in terms of the actual creative, I haven't tapped into too many like AI video things, but in terms of like the Photoshop and the image generation, like when I'm working on a treatment for a music video, like pitching the idea, I used to have to Photoshop and put together, like, say for example, if I wanted like the artist sitting on top of ATM that's getting pulled by a truck, like I used to actually Photoshop the ATM and then the truck and find the background and then put the artist on it. But now I can use like the AI generation to come up with that image, pitch that to them, you know, and then if they actually give the budget, we can create that in real life. But I think it's made more like the back end client communication and pitching. That's what I've used it for versus like actually final products. I don't use it really too much for the final products of anything yet.
Yeah, makes sense. For me, definitely ChatGPT has helped our business out a lot with whether it's legal contracts or bios or like who we are, like just to try to like pitch to things or websites and stuff like that. But I mean, my biggest one is the AI, is the auto-generated captions, AI captions.
Yeah.
Like for interview clips and stuff like that, just being able to click auto-generate and it picks up everything you said. Instead, because I remember I used to type out every word I said for clips and stuff. But
I need to get on that because I still be lagging on the subtitles.
Yeah,
so
subtitles are a lot of times I'll end up watching, like when I'm watching clips of stuff, I'll be reading the subtitles more than I'm actually watching the video.
Yeah.
Just because it's like easier to understand, especially when it's like a podcast and someone's just talking fast. Yeah. So yeah, it's
what program you use for that?
I use CapCut.
CapCut?
Yeah, so on the phone. It's also on the computer, but CapCut's like better than like I'm a Final Cut Pro guy is what I've been using.
Yeah.
For most of my editing life, but CapCut's literally better than any editing software I've used. It has something you buy the Pro version and you have so much stuff to play with. Like there's so much auto-generated stuff.
I need to hop on the CapCut.
Yeah, it's easy on the phone, super easy. But yeah, anyone, you guys need to get on that. Any music artist too. Quit asking. It's easier than you think to get your captions on videos and shoot stuff and make it look good.
Set your phone up with a cool backdrop, rap your song, get it on CapCut, put the lyrics, post that shit.
Yeah. One major thing that we mentioned at the beginning that I want to touch on is your documentary.
Yeah.
We got the Minnesota sports gear in between us. But for this specifically, the Timberwolves, your Minnesota sports documentary by the trailer, from what I can tell, shows like the history of the Wolves, the history of Minnesota basketball, and highlights like Minnesota is a basketball sport from high school up. Yeah. Like, and it truly is. And I've like been seeing that growing up because I'm from Mankato, so I didn't really get to see like a lot of like the city stuff, but I was looking at a lot of these guys like, damn, these guys are like a really big deal. You know, we had like the Hurt brothers, and then like I knew about like the Jones brothers, and like a few other stars like the Reed Travises and
Reed was a legend.
Who's the McCurra? JP McCurra.
JP McCurra.
Yeah, I remember I was at the state game when he had like 50 and hit the corner three buzzer. Man. I was there for that, so I'm even just off of that being in high school, I'm like, there's so much good basketball out here. Like I know we're the state of hockey and whatnot, and hockey's obviously big out here, but. Yeah,
I think it potentially is even more of a basketball state. That's my hot take.
Yeah, and I that's what it's. I mean, when it comes down to developing players to continue on to play in higher levels, it seems like it is at least.
Yeah, no. So, to touch on that, Basketball State is the name of my documentary. It's been a project that I've been working on for the past 3 years, and it's super close to my heart. Like I said, I grew up playing basketball here all my life, so I used to play against guys like Trey Jones, Gary Trent Jr., Amir Coffey. So I always realized the basketball talent here, but it wasn't until I moved to LA that I realized how underrated we truly are, because I would tell people I'm from Minnesota and they would all just be like, what the hell is in Minnesota? Like, isn't it just freezing cold? And I think the assumption is that it's just a hockey state, but there's an incredibly long list of talented hoopers that have came out of Minnesota, from the NBA to the WNBA to Division I to professional leagues all over the world. And so in the documentary, I dug into the history of Minnesota basketball. So looking back all the way to the Minneapolis Lakers and kind of the foundational people like Kevin McHale and Lindsey Whalen and Khalid El-Amin and some of those legends that really put our state on the map, all the way up into this next generation that's playing now. And it's been super inspiring, and I just want to put Minnesota basketball on the map with this project. Yeah, no, it's definitely deserving. And it's like even in that trailer, like I don't know if I've seen the full trailer with the link in your bio. Yep. So like if you're interested in watching it, definitely go check out the trailer. I'm sure there'll be a way for you to see it based off of this video you're watching. But even in that trailer, just all the names that
are listed off in that trailer.
Yeah.
I'm like, I recognize all these names, and it's like some you kind of forget that are from Minnesota just because they're NBA stars now, or they were first overall draft picks, or whatever they were. And it's like, I think even just the idea that we have like someone like Paige Beckers, like who is like the face of like women's college basketball right now. Obviously, it was like her and Caitlin Clark. Where like it was Paige Beckers, and then she got hurt, and then it was like Caitlin Clark's show. But now it's like Paige is back. Paige is back up there now that she's not hurt anymore.
No,
but even just like the state of like the WNBA, kind of like getting more eyes on it now. I think it's just. It really goes. It's going to highlight how many like girls have really came from Minnesota and are going to continue to come out of Minnesota. Like even just like the school Hopkins itself has just
Hopkins
created so many
factory. It's a basketball factory. They've had dozens of professional players come out of Hopkins, and Liv McGill is one that we look at in the documentary. And when I interviewed her, it was her sophomore year of high school, and she was like, "I want to be the greatest player in the WNBA." And since that moment, she was a McDonald's All-American. Yeah. She got so many D1 offers. She's going to play her first year at Florida. So, yeah, there's just so many examples of why this is a basketball state, and there's just going to continue to be more and more. And I think just the timing of it just feels right now, like with the rise of the Lynx and then being in the finals again, and with the rise of the Timberwolves. We were in a dark era of Wolves basketball for 20 years after KG left.
Yeah, if you lived out here, you could have got free tickets for buying a can of corn at
Cub Foods. There was times where we were rooting on guys named Luke Ridnour and Alexis Fed and just believing that we had a chance. But, now we're one of the top teams in the league, and I think just like there's just more and more of an energy of basketball in the state, and the fans have been kind of rejuvenated by the sport. And I'm just excited to see where it goes, and I hope my documentary can just be one part of pushing that culture forward.
No, it's just based off the trailer, I got chills like 3 different times watching it. Like, and cause I'm a sucker for good documentaries too. Like that's kind of where I want to be with Waterwave one day. Like, even this conversation we're having here and every conversation I've had with anyone before, who knows, like when Waterwave, if it becomes this bigger thing one day, or even like the people I'm interviewing become bigger things, like that, it's going to, I've already seen some interviews I've used or I've done in the past have been used for like documentaries on YouTube. Like it's kind of cool to see that type of stuff and being involved in it. It's kind of like made me want to really get into that documentary field and telling a story more than just like posting someone's new music. Like, no, let's go to where you grew up. Introduce me to your family, your household, like all that type of stuff. So I've definitely been like, you're definitely inspiring me, and I'm sure you're inspiring hundreds of other cameramen in the state too. So
that means a lot. Like we have to be historians of like the time that we're here, and I think like you guys have done a great job of that. And like, I think now everyone has the capability to do that. Everyone has an iPhone that shoots 4K, and so I encourage. I also, this documentary, I want it to be inspiring for hoopers, obviously, but I want it to just be inspiring for anyone that has something that they're passionate about and wanting to tell the story of that, or wanting to, put on the place they're from, wherever it might be. So, it's been a cool process.
I remember we made a post a while ago that was like, is the Minnesota State hockey tournament comparable to Texas football state tournament or something like that? And like it would like lit a fire in the comments of like people from Texas coming in and defending it because it's like Texas football is way different than Minnesota hockey, but it's like Minnesota hockey is like the pinnacle of like high school state sports, but it's like basketball is creeping up on them, and it's like I don't know if it even like really depends on the venue size. I don't know XL versus Target Center on like how many seats it can fill, but if we're not already, I bet this season or next season, coming up, like there's not going to be an open seat at the Minnesota State basketball tournament.
No, and I mean, even if you look at this playoff series with the Lynx, like every game was sold out, and the high school's championships here always go crazy. And I think the more eyes that we have on it, it's the bigger and the more it's going to grow. But yeah, hockey's not going anywhere. It'll always be a hockey state, but I think I'm just trying to make the case that it's just as much, if not more, a basketball state. And part of that is the climate, when it's freezing cold in the winter.
You can play indoors.
Let's huddle up in that gym. Let's let's go to where it's warm and where we can still, do something that we're passionate about. But
Do you have any favorite Minnesota basketball moments that stand out in your mind?
yeah, shoot, there's a lot of them. I mean, in most recent history, just the Timberwolves getting to the Western Conference Finals this year was just legendary.
Mm-hmm.
I was on a plane at the time of that Denver Game 7, and I was so mad that my flight was right at that time, but I paid for the best Wi-Fi, and I was in the middle seat with two people I don't know, and I just watched that incredible comeback that we had and win that, and I was like, yeah, let's go. In the seat, and people were looking at me crazy, and I shed a tear because I was like, man, we've came so far, we were born.
If the Vikings if we make the Super Bowl,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna cry.
Oh yeah, me too, bro. I'm diehard Vikings as well. I think there's a pride. I think the documentary really sees the pride that Minnesotans have as well. This is a place I feel like we're proud to be from, and we're proud to rep the teams from our state, because not a lot of people know about Minnesota. In California, most people can't even point it out on a map. If they had a blank map where I'm from.
Definitely.
But that's why we got to keep doing shit like this. You got to keep building Water Wave. I got to keep telling stories, and people will realize what we got to offer here.
About high school, is there any crazy high school moments that maybe you highlighted in the documentary, but favorite moments?
Some of my favorite moments from the documentary definitely are, one of them is when the Jones brothers started against each other for the first time. There was a game not last season, but the season before, where Trey and Tyus were both starting and matched up against each other, and they had an incredible game. I think they combined for 45 points, 15 assists, and I interviewed them about that game, and it was just so profound because they dreamed of that moment their whole lives. They used to play one-on-one in the driveway in Apple Valley, and to go from that to matching up on the NBA court with,
that's dope.
At the highest level, that was a really special moment that we covered. And then I think when I was filming courtside when Hopkins girls Liv's team went to the state championship, I think for the first time in a couple years, and that was just a special moment to see. They went on to win the state championship. Those are two moments that stick out to me.
One that I don't even know if it's even on your radar, because this is some smaller town, smaller section shit, but it was Wasika versus I don't even know who it was. It was whatever Mankato East section basketball is, it's under whatever 3 or 4A.
Yeah, it
was for the championship. They hit there was three buzzer beaters in a row for to go to three different overtime.
I remember that.
It was someone hit a normal buzzer beater, and then it was a half court buzzer beater, and then it was a full court buzzer beater.
Just kept leveling up.
That's some more small town shit. That's I think that game was played in St. Peter or some shit at Gustavus for sectionals or something. But that's one that stands out in my mind. And then I mentioned earlier, JP McCurra 50 ball, however many points he had in the state championship, hitting the threes in the corner.
I got one too. Amir Coffey's 3-quarter court shot to knock out. I think it was to knock out Lakeville.
Yeah.
I think they were in double or triple overtime as well, and he launched it from 3-quarters court and knocked it in. And it's been dope seeing his journey as well. He's a rotation player on the Los Angeles Clippers now, a team with Hall of Famers on it. So I think a lot of with these Minnesota guys and girls that are playing at the highest level, they may not be, the Anthony Edwards or the top players in the league, but just to even be a bench player on an NBA team, you have to be one of the greatest players to come from your state. So I think you see that a lot because Minnesota players know how to play the game the right way. Mm-hmm. We're not too flashy. Yeah. They just play good team ball and know how to win.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say we're not the most flashiest we got in the NBA right now might be Chet, and he's not even that flashy. He's just good.
Yeah, so Jalen's got a little flash to him here and there.
Gary Trent, but it's no one's no one's like that Kyrie Irving.
No,
but you don't even need. I mean, shit. If you're just talking about making a career out of basketball, you don't need to be. You just add more stress and pressure on yourself.
And I think that's just a product of like the coaching here and how the game is taught.
Definitely,
like, the game is taught to be played the most purest way in Minnesota, which is like moving the ball and making the right play. And like you see in a lot of these other basketball cities or states like New York or Chicago, it's like more like the playground, get your own show out kind of style of basketball. But here in Minnesota, like you learn to play the right way, and I think that shows. And like even like Zeke Naji, who's on the Denver Nuggets, like he's a power forward that, just gets rebounds and gets to his spot. But, like, he won an NBA championship off that.
Definitely.
So.
One final question, and then we'll get to checking out the shop a little bit. All-time starting five for the Wolves. You could just, an all-time roster of 5 guys, position-based.
I love that question. Gotta go with Anthony Edwards at the shooting guard, hands down. That's our GOAT now.
Yep.
Gotta go with KG, obviously at the power forward.
Yep.
Those two. We'll put Cat at center. Even though he's power forward potentially, we'll put Cat at center. Even though he's in New York now, we gotta appreciate him. He stuck with us through the dark days all the way until finally making it. So. And he's just a hooper. I think a lot of people don't give him enough credit for that. And then we got a small forward and a point guard left. Point guard, it could go one of two ways. Either Sam Cassell or Stephon Marbury. Just because I feel like it'd be fun to see him and Ant just saucing people up, I'm going to go with Stephon Marbury.
Okay.
And then small forward. That was a challenge. I don't know if we've had like too many all-star level small forwards.
Yeah.
I think back, like Christian Laettner had a little moment. I don't know why I'm thinking of Corey Brewer right now, but I don't think he should be the one.
Derek Williams or some shit.
Derek Williams, no, we cannot.
That was my favorite college player. Like when I was an Arizona fan when I was in high school.
Oh yeah, he was dominant in college. That's why I was a little disappointing.
Yeah.
But he's still a dog.
Michael Beasley, was he?
Michael Beasley's not a bad pick, honestly. I have a little clip of him in the documentary that's hilarious, like when we were in the dark days.
Is it the one where he went for the dunk after the buzzer? Was that him or was that Derek? It was someone dunked after the buzzer went off, like on a fast break to win the game. Instead of just putting up the layup, he went up for the dunk. I forget who that was. It might have been Beasley or Derek Williams.
The clip I had was like him like clowning one of our coaches right before he got fired. It was like some goofy shit. But small forward, I don't know. I mean, if we're taking him in his prime, I might say Andre Karolinko.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad.
A lead defender.
We'd be a big team with that.
Yeah.
AK-47. KG and Cat.
I'll give it to Andre Karolinko, but not the iteration when he was with the Wolves. The Utah Jazz prime AK-47.
Yeah, that's one thing. I think the Wolves, like, we've never really gotten like that star player on a trade that's like towards the end of his career even. Like
they're always like washed by the time
what's a guy
they
like
get
here? Martin, whatever
Kenyon
Martin.
Kevin Martin
has a weird jump shot. Like even like him, like that's like one of the bigger name that like came to our team after. Like we haven't really got like we're not like that destination where people are like, oh, I want to go there to try to win a championship at the end of their career or anything like that. So it's kind of hard to put together like an all-time team.
That's what's cool about where we're at now because we're becoming that destination now with Ant. Like who wouldn't want to play with Ant? So I think
we need to get Kevin Durant over here. You seen them in the
man.
Olympics? I thought that was gonna happen. I don't know. I just seen all the rumors and all the jokes around it.
I don't know how I feel about that, but I wouldn't be mad at it as long as Ant doesn't leave. I'll be fine. But
yeah. All right, I'm gonna do mine. Give me Ricky Rubio at the point.
Ooh, tough.
Anthony Edwards.
Yep.
Then small forward, I don't even know. Maybe like I wish I could just put like Naz Reid at small forward, but I feel like that's cheating.
I'll let you do that.
Okay, give me Naz Reid.
Yep.
Kevin Garnett and Kevin Love. Sorry, Cat. I'm sorry.
K-Love. I respect that.
I'll take K-Love. I'll take the prime K-Love over the prime Cat.
Yeah.
And that's just I don't know, maybe that's just because I grew up watching prime K-Love. But
yeah, he was a dog.
Yeah.
Every rebound.
But we're in the Waterwave store.
Yes, sir.
He's in town, so we got to do some shopping. Let's go to it.
Let's do it.
One thing about the NBA is also the outfits.
Yeah.
Is there any players you know that have some of the best league fits that you've seen?
Man, I feel like SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from OKC, he's probably got the best drip.
Okay.
But a lot of these guys have like a stylist that they're paying,
definitely,
you know, $20K a month to drip them out.
Yeah, they don't got time to worry about that. They got hoop.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm loving this little classic Timberwolves. I don't have enough Timberwolves gear, honestly. I only got like 2 Wolves jerseys, so.
Yeah, the vintage Wolves stuff is hard to come by. We did this drop during the playoff push last year for the Wolves, but there's only
the turtle joint. That's crazy.
Had to bring like some of the water wave esque to it or whatever.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I need a Vikings shirt too. I'm a diehard Vikings fan, and I do not own one Vikings shirt. It's not acceptable.
So with your film, do you have like an end goal? Like, do you want it on like a big platform or like a movie?
Yeah.
Like what's like your idea with how you want to distribute it to the masses? You know?
Yeah, no, the ultimate goal is to get it on the streaming platform, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Peacock. You know, who honestly, whoever will take it. But that's a process. There's like it's really hard to get on those, and you have to have like a connection. So I'm working on that. But that's the goal, and I'm not gonna stop till I get it on something because.
It definitely needs to be.
Yeah, I need this story to be told. But I'm gonna do the film festival circuit too. Like, until that happens, I'm gonna keep trying to do screenings around the country and show more and more people.
Yeah. There's one guy out here that's making a movie right now. You know Robert Henry Films?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. I've seen like basically almost like as far as a rough draft as you can get basically on it. It's super cool too.
No, I'm excited to see it. He sent me the script like before he made it. And yeah, I love anyone in our city that's trying to do something bigger than like what you would expect from Minnesota. I support it. I might go with this Moss joint, or this one looks a little more classic. I like the design on this, but this might fit me better. Randy Moss. This one? Okay, bet.
The Randy Moss one looks like it's never been washed either. Like it looks almost like it's brand new. Like it's obviously old, but it looks like it hasn't been.
Yeah, that's tough. This is Savli, love of my life. Also producer of the documentary. She was a huge part of it. That's crazy. I'm supposed to be interviewing Lindsay Whalen this week. That'd be epic.
I see you got the Jordan 1s on.
Yep.
Quick fit check too, might as well. You got the double knees, you got the 1s, the black tee.
Yeah.
Little classy look for the day.
I'm trying to get my style right. I've never really been a fashion guy, but you know, I'm trying to get better at it as I grow up.
Is there any like Jordan or any sneaker that's like your grail? Like one day I'm gonna have that shoe, or maybe you already got it. I don't know.
I think the ones are my favorite. Like I want to pair like the classic ones, the ones
like some
Jordans.
Chicago's or Breads.
Yeah, the Breads, but I also like the 11s, like the Concord 11s, or like the snakeskin 11s. I'm not that big of a sneakerhead, honestly, but I want to get into it more. Damn, R.I.P. Madison.
No, that's my first NFL interview.
Yeah.
Alexander Madison.
No, not R.I.P.
I guess.
Not R.I.P. Madison. He's still living strong and killing it in
He's
Oakland,
the Raiders,
right?
yep. Well, Las Vegas
Vegas Raiders.
All right, so today they're grabbing the U of M crew neck. This is a super fire one. I didn't even know we had that one out there. The Randy Moss, brand new Randy Moss Lee.
Sir.
Legends. And then the rare occurrence of a Timberwolves vintage crew neck. Super cool. All right, there's your stuff.
Yes,
You're
sir.
an XL t-shirt,
Yeah.
right? What size shirt you wear? Medium. We can get you some Water Wave gear before you dip out of here
Water
too.
Wave merch with the deal. What?
Let's find you something. We gotta have something in here for y'all.
Getting the plug.
See if I can get those in there too.
Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir.
My guy.
It's a pleasure.
Appreciate you.
Go follow him on Instagram right now. Directed by Gabe.
Directed by Gabe.
Follow us at Waterwave TV. Come shop with us at 1521 Como Avenue, Southeast Minneapolis, Minnesota. You got to see the store. We're just outside of Dinkytown. Don't miss us.
Yes, sir. Shout out Water Wave TV, man. Hometown heroes.